Back to Newcastle. Andy says Bruce should resign because he's obviously out of his depth. He's won 23 league games out of 80, not acceptable at any level. Geordie Boy says none of Newcastle's starting 11 were away on international duty. And Jordan says, what manager goes on holiday mid-season, plays players out of position, questions why we play badly. We play at home and play like an away team. He gets nothing out of the team. That's my big problem with Steve Bruce. I really want him to work, but I think for it to work, he's got to change.
Do managers not go away? I think you might find, I think this has got out purely because Newcastle and the nightmare they're having. I do believe managers do go away for 4 days here and there. Because if he's giving the players off 4 days, he's got 4 days. He can do what he wants in those 4 days. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. If they all get 4 days off, he can do what he wants. He can fly to Dubai if he wants for 4 days.
But that's the point. I think, from what I understand, they were all in working with the coaches, and he was away in Portugal. As I understand it, if I'm wrong about that, then please somebody put me right. But Steve Bruce, he was asked about the holiday after the defeat to Manchester United on Saturday. He was asked in the Zoom press conference afterwards by Lee Ryder from the Newcastle Chronicle whether it was good preparation to head to Portugal.
Well, I think I really have to answer that to you, Lee. That's what the fans are asking of us. We trained all week. We were in every day this week where preparation was meticulous, let me tell you. There's nothing more in preparation. What was they supposed to do? Well, 6 of them away. But preparation was fine, absolutely fine. We've been in all week. You could see the game plan of what we worked to. To answer questions like that is typical of a question that I would get off you and your newspaper, if I'm being brutally honest.
So there's clearly a division between him and the local press, clearly a division between him and the fans. And listen, whether you like it or not, you know, the Newcastle Chronicle in Newcastle is huge. I mean, they've hit back and said the fans aren't negative because of them. They're negative because of Ashley, first and foremost, and they're negative because Steve Bruce doesn't win games. Let's speak to Ben, who's a Villa fan. How you doing, Ben?
Hi, lads. You all right?
Yeah, all good, mate.
My point is, it must be really frustrating being a Newcastle fan, but who else do you think you're going to get? Because you've had Benitez, you've got Bruce, there's been other good managers been there up in the past, but with no money on the table, and you know there's no money on the table, who else are you going to get? Are you going to look at another Premier League manager that would go to Newcastle? I'm not sure. Would Sean Dyche go from not spending any money at Burnley to not spending any money at Newcastle? I don't think he would. I think the best bet they've got is getting somebody like an Eddie Howe, potentially, who's attacking, got a bit of flair, someone who's willing to try and bring some of the players through the ranks, but
okay, let's answer that question. If you go back to some of the managers who have been available, wanted to be in the Premier League, so Leicester when they got Brendan Rodgers, that's the kind of manager that Newcastle fans realistically think that they can attract. I'm not saying him specifically, but as an example. So Leeds got Bielsa.
Well, they got Rafa.
Villa, your club
huge.
got Dean Smith. They got Rafa before, and they've gone from Rafa to Steve Bruce. And weren't the Villa fans the ones who threw cabbage at Steve Bruce? Isn't that right?
I wouldn't replace Dean Smith with Steve Bruce. You've got to look at the job that Dean Smith's done over the last few years, and it's been very, very good. But if Bruce's remit is to keep Newcastle in the Premier League, then that is exactly what he's done.
Yeah, but hang on, I'm really puzzled by this. You've mentioned this as well, Goffey, and Ben, thanks for bringing it up again. Right, he has a meeting with the board, and they say to him, right, just keep us in the Premier League. So does Steve Bruce take away from that meeting, okay, that's all I've got to do, finish 17th? No, he surely is a man of ambition who wants to be successful, so he's going to do even more than that. He's not going to do the bare minimum, is he? That's not...
And I agree with you. You look at their squad, and I think it should be a team that are finishing around that mark, though, Aid. I look at them, and I look at some of the other teams, other than have a golden year, where they can, like a Sheffield United did, and finish right up there. Realistically, I look at Newcastle... And this has not been negative towards them because I really want them to do well and perhaps Steve Bruce might not be the right man for them, but he's not just going to walk away when his payout is huge to get the boot. But Mike Ashley's got to just take the hit and get rid, and if getting the manager he wants. But what managers are they going to attract? People like who are out of work, possibly. It could be It could be a Lampard. It could be someone like a Steve Cooper, who's out of work from since his Swansea days, who's good with the younger lads as well. He's done a lot of work in that area. So that's what I would say. But realistically, I look at them and I think, 10th, 12th, 10th at best, 12th. It's great. Same as Leeds, 10th, 12th. That's as good as it can get, surely.
Lewis, a Newcastle fan. What do you think, Lewis?
Hello, guys. You all right?
Yeah, all good. Good to have you on.
Yeah, so my main problem with Steve Bruce is him going on holiday in so early on in the season. First of all, I've got nothing major against Steve Bruce. I will say that he's never been given a fair crack of the whip. Even before he walked through the door at St James's Park, he was written off. So I do feel for him in that respect. However, it's so early on in the season. Manchester United, the vast majority of their players are going away on international duty. And I know we're not going to catch up with Man United in 2 weeks, obviously. However, is that not a good, solid fortnight's extra preparation to try and stem the flow of bad form we've been in? Towards the end of the season, if there was an international break, say April time when we were safe, I know that's not the case, but fair enough, go on holiday, perfect, you've done well. He's obviously under a lot of stress. But 3-4 games in, when it's not looking good, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I think when you've not had a great start to the season, Lewis, and you go away and you come back and you get battered, and I think that it's just not a good look. It may have been that he needed a break, and we don't know what's going on in his life, don't know what's going on in his mindset, all of that stuff that needs to be factored in, but we can't because we haven't got a clue about it. He looked, we heard the audio earlier, but he looked massively annoyed when the issue of a holiday affecting preparations for the game was brought up. But he must realise what people are going to deduce. They're going to put 2 and 2 together, aren't they? He's not a stupid man. He's an experienced man,
I think especially when it's quite obvious one of their problems is defensively they're all over the shop.
Yeah.
They've conceded more goals than anybody else in the Premier League. So perhaps that's what they should be working on. But he come back with that aid and said, we've been working for 7 days on this game.
Yeah, well, it didn't look like it because he talked about a game plan. The game plan simply was
to defend.
Let's defend and then boot it to Saint-Maximin,
who was up front through the middle.
And of course, he's rapid and clever, but it's a flawed game plan. And look at the Bruno Fernandes goal. The defenders in front of Bruno Fernandes turning the back, not getting close to him, not prepared to take it in the mush for the team. That, to me, said it all about Steve Bruce's Newcastle. It's a shame because you want Geordie to do well at the club he loves, but it's just not working for him,
put it this way, his 2 centre-backs, 2 of the 3 centre-backs, his next game, they're going to change. They're going to bring probably Shah back in and bring back in Fernandes. So he just keeps going back and forth. He's dropped, I think, with Lascelles, hasn't he? He's in, he's out, he's in. I think he's going to be out again because he had a howler.
Yeah,
again.
Absolute howler.
So it's going to be Fernandes back in and Shah next game, I guarantee it.
And we'll see what happens against Leeds on Friday night. This is talkSPORT.